Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good morning, or good evening. You could be watching this on the replay. Welcome to the Chicken Box. I'm feeling it's Thursday. With so much news that just makes people want to just, you know, it's time to come and breathe a little bit. The Chicken Box is powered by the oldest media company in the world, 132 years, black owned media company, I should say, the Afro American newspaper. And if you're not from the Baltimore area, Chicken Box, of course, is maybe foreign to you, but you might know what it is. When I say four wings fried, salt, pepper, ketchup, get agreed, little half and half, which is Arnold Palmer to some other people. But here's where you get on your box. You know how people like to say, I get on my soapbox, Jay. Get on
Yes,
your
sir.
box and you speak your truth. We're talking about the workforce, black people. How are we doing in the workforce? How are we assimilating in the workforce, or how are we beginning to even think as business owners? Jay, how you feeling? I at least got to ask that for the first 10 seconds because everybody's going through something in their mind. You might be having a
Yeah,
great day. I just say it anyway. No matter what the day is, I say I'm having a great day. I don't care what, no, whatever.
right. No, I'm good. I'm good. Things are going okay. So ready to go.
Let me ask you
How are
again.
you?
You gotta go back like two episodes. People just
Right.
give you that fake answer like, "How are you? Oh yeah, everything's fine." But it's not
Right.
really
Right.
fine. But
I'm legitimately fine. This
okay,
time I am.
all right. We are our brother's keeper. We need to check on our people, and you need to really see how people are actually doing, and not just for the stock answer. I'm good. No, you're not.
Yeah, you gotta check again. You gotta check again. Of course.
Absolutely. So, man, what are we talking about today? And I know we have a special guest who's doing some amazing things in our community, and I can't
Yes.
wait to get into this conversation.
So we have Elisha Johnson. She is a community engagement specialist and nonprofit leader dedicated to breaking down barriers between vocational education and workforce opportunities for Baltimore City youth. As a key member of Requity Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit, she leads initiatives that equip Baltimore youth with practical skills in construction, culinary arts, and sustainability, helping them build careers while addressing critical community needs with expertise in youth workforce development, vocational education, food access, and climate action. Alicia has spearheaded programs that create lasting impact. She recently secured a site that is 0.67 acres of a vacant lot with the goal of transforming into an urban farm that will provide fresh produce to the community and support Requity's culinary program. So, welcome to the show, Alicia. How are you?
So much. I'm pretty good. How are you?
All right, I'm good. Okay, so you're doing work with youth as far as vocational education and getting them ready for the workforce. Can you break down for folks who maybe have heard the word vocational but are not quite sure what it means, or they think they know what it means? Can you talk about what a vocational career actually is?
Sure. So vocational is trades, basically skilled pathways, whereas though maybe they won't be going to college, or maybe they will, but this is a skilled trade that they've studied for as early as 10th grade and get certified in by 12th grade, and then able to transition straight into the workforce.
Right.
Some of those trades are construction, culinary, interactive media, business, and we do community work in the interim.
Excellent, excellent. So this is for, there's still vocational high schools. There are two major ones in Baltimore City. Like my mom was a graduate of Mervo, so for nursing. And it does put people on a path that gets them right into the world immediately out of high school, which is really beneficial. Good morning, Dr. Draper. How are you?
Hello. Good afternoon. Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I guess my question is, what is your background and what made you so interested in this particular way of getting people into the workforce and education wise?
So my background is pretty much in culinary. I was a cafeteria manager for Baltimore City Public Schools for approximately 10 years. There was a study done in 2019 that showed that students weren't able to earn over $13,000 in a year, and that was not in their vocational trades. The reason because of this was because they didn't have real world hands-on experience. So that's where Requity comes in.
Okay. And did you go to a vocational high school as well?
Yes, I actually graduated many years ago from Carver Votech.
Okay. All right. There you go. And for what was your
My
vocation?
trade was cosmetology.
Okay. All right. Dope. Dr. Draper, do you have a question right now?
Well, I just want to comment. Hi, welcome. We're glad to have you here on the Chicken Box,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for the work that you are doing. So, when I looked at your bio, you're in West Baltimore in the Rosemont area currently.
Yeah.
So, what are your plans to? Do you have plans to expand beyond where you are in Baltimore? Students, I would imagine, come from all over the metropolitan
Excellent.
area. Do you get students from beyond that, or tell me a little bit about your? It's no such thing as a typical student, but if you could describe who usually comes to your program or to your school.
Right. So initially it was Carver High School students. Our executive director, Michael Rosenband, has been the baseball coach at Carver since 2012. And one of his students, Sterling Hardy, was a member of the baseball team. They figured out baseball, not having a field, not having supplies, transportation. But once he graduated, he realized like he wasn't able to secure a job because of not having work experience. So initially it started with Carver students, but we have expanded beyond that. And we have, as of last year, our first female construction intern that comes from Forest Park. Our goal is to gain a larger headquarters space so that we could impact more students at one time. But the goal is just wherever the need is to be that support system to help our youth flourish.
Okay, that's really good to know. So for our viewers and our listeners, hey y'all, welcome to the Chicken Box. We're glad you're here. There are people that are looking at this. How do you pronounce your name? Is it Elisha?
It's Elisha, but they call
Elisha.
me EJ. Mm-hmm.
All right, EJ.
Yeah.
So for people who are listening from all over the world, right, we may have to break down Jace and Impeccable some of the terms, and you all may have done this already in terms of vocational tech and that type of thing, because there may be somebody watching all the way, on the West Coast, and they want to know a little bit more about this. Jay mentioned there are 2 vocational technical schools in Baltimore City. What about across the nation, though?
It's not too many. So the vocational is skilled trades. That could be anywhere from construction, cosmetology, childcare, whereas though they could have a pathway beyond college education. The goal is for students to attend a vocational school and get these skills and certifications. So once they transition from high school, they're able to jump right in the field that they've studied for. But we found out students weren't able to acquire these jobs because they didn't have real world hands-on experience. And that's where Requity comes in.
That's interesting, right? Because the entire idea of the vocational school is like you leave high school and you've been given what they would deem enough practical experience, and then you can go. But you guys are actually filling this gap, which I didn't realize. I don't think a lot of people realize that there is still a gap even coming out of a vocational program to get into the workforce. How long are your programs? So these are kids coming out of high school, and how long are they with you?
So we do have work-based learning. That is with the seniors, 12th graders. If they are passing their classes, they are able to leave school at their lunch period and come straight over to us to transition into the hands-on work experience. We do host 2 cohorts, which are like 15 weeks, and then transition more students in. We do have students that are long-standing that have started from 10th grade year up until senior year. So it's not like once you're done with high school, we drop you. We still want to lead you on the pathway to find the employment that you deserve.
Excellent. And how long has Requity been around?
Requity was established in 2020.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
You're fulfilling a great need. Impeccable?
Yes.
Welcome. We're glad to see you.
Right. I'm on this hotel internet, and it is trash. But anyway, internet has been the big deal lately for years. Right now, it's AI. but it's some jobs that we know AI is not doing. It's not doing any plumbing yet, unless it's a robot that comes. And many of the skills at the vocational school can't be replaced by AI. Am I correct, EJ?
Absolutely, absolutely. One thing with technology, it fails. It's nothing like having a human with the experience to be able to fulfill some of these needs in these jobs. So, I mean, AI is great, you have it, but what if it fails? What is the backup plan? So,
Right, you need
There's
a
always
human to fix it. What are the top vocational jobs that the students are getting, even after getting training from your program, your foundation? What are the top industries that you see them going into?
so construction was the original field that we
Hmm.
started with, but during the pandemic when we launched, a lot of things were put on hold, standstills. There was permits that had to be put in place. So we wanted to engage the community. And one thing that was spoke upon was the lack of food access. So that's when we engaged culinary interns. So they're able to shop, prepare, deliver meals to community residents. And since October of 2023, have served over 2,500 meals. So a lot of the initial startup was construction. That includes carpentry, masonry, HVAC, electrical, plumbing. All students do receive certifications. Right now is an OSHA 10 certification going on here, just to set them along the pathway, whereas though you're coming to the job, you have a professional toolkit with your resumes, all of your credentials, certifications, just to make you stand out a step above beyond what they expect for a newly graduating senior.
So the list you just named, is there a shortage of skilled workers in those fields?
Absolutely.
masonry,
So we
definitely.
need people for those who say they can't find any jobs out there. They are looking for some
Yes.
skilled people. Now even if you didn't go to Carver, can I come to Requity Foundation and get this training?
Yes, as long as you're between the ages of 15 to 24.
Impeccable. You
15 to 24. You got some people at home on your couch that ain't, they need to move to their own couch. Please have them. I'm gonna put the website up in a minute so that you can go right now and start playing. Because don't tell me it's no work out there, because it is work out there. There it is. Go right there to Equity. Dr. Draper,
You
ready to
had a
get some of these young people off the couch.
right. I had a couple of questions. And I apologize if you all talked about this already, but how did you come up with the name Requity? That's one question I have. And the other question, so I don't forget, you don't have to do both at the same time. Suppose a young person has not completed their GED or their high school, but they're interested in a trade. Let's talk about the name first. How did you come up with the name?
So the name Requity is what you make of it. It could be re-equitizing the community. It could be reparational. It could be reprogramming. It's all in what you make it.
I like that.
Yeah, it is what you make of it.
So what was in your mind when you named it?
I didn't name it.
Didn't?
I'm
Okay.
not the founder. I'm the community engagement specialist.
Okay.
But my idea when I think of Requity, I think reimagining, going outside of the box, stepping outside of the stereotypes. That young Black man isn't going to do anything with himself. That this is a reimagined program that shows it is positive influence that's happening in this Black community that's helping our young Black males and females.
Yeah.
Anybody. It's not
Oh
limited.
yeah, because when it was cold the other week, extremely cold, and my heat wasn't working for 4 days,
You should have called.
AI, tech, the internet
Yeah.
froze. I think one day, Comcast, Xfinity said, we're working on it. I'm like, it's free. It got down to 40. When that temperature said 40 degrees, that's when
Yeah.
we needed something. We need y'all HVAC. Look,
Yes.
come through. I'm thinking in another life, I could be a plumber or HVAC. They working forever. I know
Yes.
I had a plumber friend that was a family friend. He worked till I think his knees fell off. I think, but he
Mhm.
There's
he
no
was over,
shortage. No shortage
he
of work.
was no shortage of work.
Right.
And those are overlooked industries right now.
I agree.
And we thank you for it, but you got to get the training. And sometimes you're not even thinking that way.
Hmm.
And young people, 15 to 24, parents, grandparents watching now, you got some 15 to 24-year-olds who aren't sure quite what they want to do except spend some money, uh, and they haven't figured it out. They can come right in, go right to Requity, reimagine their life. Even if they don't do it forever, you got a skill that you can, if you had to, do it
Absolutely.
forever.
And might I add, all of our student interns are compensated for their workforce training.
Okay, so
Oh,
this is hold on. That's paid training too.
It's paid training.
Oh,
Absolutely.
you gotta get this. Hey, get up off the couch, people.
Mhm.
15 to 24. The alarm has been sent. EJ is in the building to let you know she is here specifically to engage people. How many people can we have per session, and how do the sessions run? Did we ask that question yet? No.
So we're open. If a young person comes in, express their interest in getting some type of workforce training, we'll accommodate them. It's no limit. It's no limit.
So it's not
We have
like
also,
a
yes.
school period of time. You
So
come
so
in
if
when you come in.
So we have during the day like work-based learning training, and we also have after school training as well because we have some juniors and seniors. Juniors, seniors, and sophomores. Seniors are the only ones that are able to leave during work-based learning because they should have all of their credits needed in order to graduate. And that's something we're big on as well. You got to be doing what you have to do in school in order to be a participant at Requity. We're not letting you skip school but come to work. We checking report cards, progress reports, you name it. We traveling to the schools. We talking to your guidance counselors.
So
Okay.
April just asked, is this program nationwide? April, I'm not sure where you are, but I think this particular program, is it in Baltimore only right now?
Right now, our goal is to expand it nationwide. Even if we aren't physically the ones that's implementing it outside of Baltimore, we got the blueprints to send off to any organizations that's willing to, see what we've done and try to replicate. We encourage it.
So that
Jessica says she's in her 50s. She studied architecture, but she wished she had taken a trade. She said she would definitely share it with her younger cousins. Thank you, Jessica. April said we need this in the community. Alexis is like, shout out for paying students.
excellent.
April is in North Carolina. Shout out to North Carolina for tuning in. And, you may be able to connect with the people at Requity. And, if it's about helping people, I'm sure they're not going to hide the information. So if you have it in
Absolutely.
your heart to start this kind of program in your city, still give EJ a call and she will definitely know how to guide you in the right way. Dr. Draper.
EJ, let's talk a little bit about support for your program. And if somebody did say, you know what, this is a great idea, I wish I had it in Raleigh, North Carolina, still takes money. So
Right.
these are young people who are in school, not young people who are on the pathway to graduate from high school. That's the first thing I heard you say. These are young people right now in the public schools of Baltimore City. Started at one of the. These are young people who are already studying some kind of VOTEC education in their high school programs. It sounds like. So not all of them. Oh, good. That's a good point. But how do you get your support for Requity? Because it sounds like the students aren't paying. You're paying them. That means that your instructors, you're paying them as well. So
absolutely. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We do go after grants, in-kind donations. We do donor management, nurture relationships, and inform people. We did December of 2024, we won the U.S. Department of Energy Community Impact Grand Prize. So we thank you. Yes, we took a student with us. We followed all of the protocols to get permission to take a student to Chicago, and we let them know everything we were doing, and we won the grand prize. So we applied to grants, city, state, local level, federal level, not as of right now due to the things with administration. But grants, donors are basically our support systems.
Excellent.
On average, how much does it cost to educate? Do you know how much it costs to educate one student? Have you all broken it down that way?
I don't have the specifics on one student, but I could tell you our annual operating budget is a little under $1 million a year.
Okay, so you could use more. So how many young people can you serve with how you currently are operating?
So far we've served over 120 students. Right now we have a cohort of 26. But it's an open door policy. If somebody sees this broadcast is in the community, reach out, email, stop in. We're open every day, Monday through Friday, between the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If people are to stop in, we will try our best to accommodate. And we do have pretty good partners in the nonprofit realm, whereas though like some of our students have gone through like Urban Alliance is one. We have students that have been placed with BG&E. So we do have partners as well. So if we're not able to accommodate, we look to see other ways to accommodate as well.
And I assume you did say you have young ladies and young men. Many young women going into construction?
So we just hired our first female construction intern. She attended Forest Park. She believed that since she was female, she could only do culinary. So that was the trade she selected in high school. But here with us, she's in the OSHA 30 training, right? OSHA 10 training right now. She's been on our construction team since September of last year. So it's an open door. We're going to get you a hard hat, your PPE, your boot size, and get boots on the ground out the door.
Great.
Awesome.
I just thought about some steel toe boots. If you just tuned in, we're talking about getting the workforce together. People, it is problems out there that need to be solved. If you hear that there's no work out there, that is a bold-faced lie. It is a bunch of problems that need to be solved. And of course, the better your skills are, the better you get paid for solving those problems. But this is a shout out to the Afro.com celebrate. We're working on 133 years, y'all, of bringing information to our community, serving, informing, inspiring, and telling great stories that EJ has to share. Maybe it might spark something that you have. Just if you listen now, just do us a favor and share it. It costs you nothing to share. It costs you nothing to, everybody wants to be liked now in these days on social media. Just give us a nice like. It'll make the internet feel, or our page feel warm and fuzzy. we are growing, or we have the oldest and the best archives of African American history in the world. Stay tuned for the new building that you will be able to come visit right in the city of Baltimore in the next year or so. But we're doing great things here, and we want to talk about people who are doing great things in our community. And now, EJ, you might not know it, but you are now officially in the world famous Afro Archives. And ink and paper. Now it's video, right? So now the new archives are video. It'll be, I don't know what it'll be in the future, but right now we're gonna go with what it is, and they'll look back, and the students will look back at programs like this and say, they were using that. Like the video is like the old tech by the time we're dead and gone and not here anymore, but the archives will live on forever. So Jay.
Yes.
Were you ever in? And I know you were you in the Baltimore City school system?
Yeah, I went to Poly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And I lived. Yeah, and I lived for a while. A number of years ago, I lived right across the street, pretty much from Mervo. So, so I do have a question for you. You have culinary, masonry, construction, you have a whole host of things. And I noticed on your site you have upcoming projects, an EV project. I'm curious as to what that is, and also, are there other vocations that you're looking to expand into that maybe people have come to you and say, hey, do you have this? And like, no, we don't. And then it's like, all right, let me write this on the list of like future things. So what does that expansion potentially look like? And if you could speak to the EV program, because I think, it's here and it isn't going anywhere. So I'm very interested to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah. So as far as expansion, has been questions like the cosmetology students, I do hair. Is there something I can do over there? So what we're trying to do now is incorporate it like a day of service for community members. Whereas though we may need to utilize the cosmetology lab at the school, but if we're willing to fund neighbors, longtime residents, for them to feel like just a day of service, come get the hair done, come, facial, something of that nature. I'm working on a proposal right now with that to introduce to Carver High School. Childcare has been a thing. At one point in time, Carver High School used to allow people from the outside to utilize their childcare. Now it's just restricted to staff at the school. So we do have CPR, AED certifications. We are in the process of trying to look into the 90-hour accreditation so that maybe once we expand our headquarters space, we will be able to accommodate maybe before or after care for parents.
Oh,
So,
that's very thoughtful. Yeah, that's
yeah.
nice.
So
It's to eliminate those sort of potential barriers for people.
barriers,
Right.
right.
So, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And you had mentioned the EV project.
Yes.
Last school year, 3 students had came and knocked on the door of Requity, informing us that the electrical teacher, left his job, to pursue his own business, and they didn't have a teacher. So at that moment, they were going to split up all the electrical students between carpentry or masonry. But these were seniors, so they had went through the process, and now at the finish point, don't have an instructor. So we reached out to BG&E and we're able to partner with them on the EV project. So that was the electric vehicles. Students learned how to install, maintain those devices. And the goal initially was to try to get one installed right here at Carver, so the students will be able to possibly travel in an EV van and do the maintenance on those vehicles. It's a lot of red tape and permitting that has to go through that. So right now we're trying to acquire a site where as though it could be public facing and the general public will be able to utilize. But we do have interns that came through our program that are skilled in repairing and installing the EV charging stations.
Nice. I mean, that's future proofing your students. That's awesome.
Yes.
That's
I'm gonna jump in just on this EV. I don't know if you have seen or even follow. You guys saw the Black Panther, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how advanced technologically they were.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there's an African inventor in Zimbabwe who has come up with something, a new EV or a new car that doesn't need charging.
Mm.
The quote unquote powers that be are trying to hide it or trying to figure out how to steal it. But I saw it last night. His name is Maxwell. I'll try to put it I'll put the link maybe. I saw it on YouTube, but if you just say African's energy secret, it doesn't need to be charged. It's called a new microsonic energy technology that I found very interesting. Of course, African Americans and people of color have invented some of the greatest inventions in the world, but this is definitely a game changer, not only for vehicles, but they have a self-charging. You don't even need solar to power, like each unit can power up to 300 homes, which is crazy. So anyway, I know I'm off on a tangent, but because the workforce is changing, you never know.
Right.
With this new technology, Jay is probably looking it up now.
I read about it last week. Yes.
Oh, you read about it, so you did hear about it, right? I was blown away. I would love to see it. I got my first EV, and I would love not to charge it. But back to the workforce, Dr. Draper.
Well, I was not really curious, but wondering about something you said, EJ, in terms of a teacher just leaving. It sounds like leaving mid-school year. People are free to do what they need to do.
Right.
But what's that pipeline like for instructors in the trades? We know there's a shortage of workers in the trades, but how about those who will even go into a city public school system and they have that skill set, and I would imagine they could be working anywhere themselves and, you know, make a whole lot more than they do. So obviously they have a passion for teaching. So I'll give that, you know, to them in order for them to even do that. I'm just curious about what that looks like. Is there a shortage of qualified folk to even teach our young people?
There is definitely a shortage. That's part of the reason why Requity has stepped in as well. Leaving 3 days before school was scheduled to start in a student's last year of their trade was detrimental. But one thing our executive director always say is crisis is opportunity. So we just had to pivot, find a way, you know, our general contractor that works, we have a project, the Carver House, which is a low to no emission house being built. And once it's done, it'll be sold to a low income family. He took a lot of the electrical students under his wing to, you know, show them different things that they were lacking and missing because of their teacher leaving the last year of their high school studies. So, you know, sometimes things come up and you don't expect it, but we're always trying to figure out, okay, how can we pivot? How can we, you know, how can we improve? How can we still accommodate what their passion is without it being completely interrupted?
Got it. So do you find yourself teaching some of the culinary classes or not?
Not so much. We got a nice, a wonderful, amazing chef. I do step in and play as health department because I do the certification. So I make sure everybody has the hair nets on, the gloves, no long fake fingernails, things of that nature. But it's just a beauty to be able to sit back and see. I do a lot of the community. I've lived in this community for over 34 years. So I do a lot of the engagement events, our back to school drives, our community cleanups, like anything where as though it'll bring the people out, anything where as though we're interacting, engaging, finding out what is it that the community is asking for, just to show that it is people that still care.
So what type of kitchen y'all have?
It's not commercial. We're working on that. It's a standard kitchen. Yeah. So right now,
No. I mean, because you know the Afro, we used to have a cooking school back in the day, and then we just launched a new newsletter called the Afro Table that's talking all about cuisine, chefs, food, great restaurants to eat, and some of these students they might know how to throw down.
Yes,
you might have to have a live session right in your kitchen. Can you hold a couple people?
Absolutely. We All Eat Wednesdays is when we do our community. We feed the community, but our students also get booked for events. So like Carver had a back to school event. We were able to cater the event for the school. Johns Hopkins University, they've catered events there as well. So we're teaching them, but we're also showing them entrepreneurial outlets as well. Like you don't always have to work for somebody. This could be the stepping stone where you say, you know what? I love what I'm doing so much. I want to open up my own restaurant. Let me find out the behind the scene things that I need in order to set me up. So that way, when I go, I'm all gas, no brakes.
Got it. So if somebody in this area wants to engage the young people to cater an event, how far will they go from Baltimore?
As far as we need to, as long as we know any allergies, address, location, times, what they would like. We got a whole form they could fill out, and we there.
And you're there. So hey, okay, so people can contract with you, and that's good to know because people are always looking for good caterers.
Absolutely.
And all gas, no brakes. Is there a specialty that the young people like to prepare? Is there something that they like known for, or do you have a set menu, or how does that work?
It varies. One of my favorite dishes, because I participated as well with the We All Eat Wednesdays, is the salmon. Okay. Oh, it's great. It's amazing. They do amazing salmon dishes. We do a lot of pastas, chicken, rice. Rasta pasta was on the menu yesterday. Amazing.
Okay, now I'm hungry. I'll talk to y'all later.
You got to come through on a Wednesday.
Wait a minute, I might do that. I'm real familiar with the area. What time on Wednesday?
Noon.
And what's the address for people who are in the area and say, you know what, we're gonna come down on Wednesday, and
absolutely. We're located 2142 Pressman Street. PRESSTMAN. We're directly
It's
across
on
the
the
street
website
from High
too, right?
School.
I was going to say
Yes.
y'all are right across from Carver.
Yes.
Yep.
Right there between
Mhm.
Bentonville and Appleton. Okay, I know exactly, like right there by Easterwood Park. I know exactly
Yes.
where you are.
Yes.
Okay, so
That's where we hosted our back to school drive. We gave away over 120 backpacks.
and wow, and what time did you say again? We can come in
12 noon.
12 noon.
Yes, ma'am.
You're doing a lot of confirming.
Right.
I love it.
That sounds like somebody hungry.
Yeah.
How much is the lunch when people come?
Oh, it's free. It's free for the community.
Oh, okay.
Speaking my
That's great.
language. I hear you.
Mhm. Free 99.
And I've already established that that's my community. I already told y'all all about it.
Absolutely.
See, you don't have to go to New York and go to like the Culinary Institute of America. You don't have to do all that. Right where you are, right in your community.
Yep.
Right.
You said free 99, y'all.
Yep.
All right. Well, go to afro.com where it's not free 99, but it's for less than 2 Uber Eats. You can have a subscription
Right.
where it's not controlled by anybody. Nobody, no million or billionaire has given us any money to make us say anything over here. We just gonna be telling the truth as y'all shuffle through all of this information and all of this false news and fake news. You got to have a place to center where the truth is, and the Afro has done that for 133 years. So when you are unsure about a topic or what's going on, go to afro.com and tune in, get a subscription so we can pay young people as well. We hire a lot of young people to come in, and we have video editors, we have writers, we have people working in database. I mean, our business model has shifted over the years. I mean, we used to have a lot of vocational when we had our own printing press and things of that nature back in the day, but we have a lot of young people who this is their training ground because nobody else is listening to their stories or even allowing them to publish the stories. So thank you for supporting the Black press, everybody out there, even if you're not in Baltimore. Afro.com goes all from here to Ghana and beyond, right? So thank you again. So look, we're winding down on time. We have something called the box where you just jump on the box and you speak your truth, whatever you feel about the workforce, anything. This is basically you can have a free time to rant.
Okay.
Thank you. Like, if you need to get something off your chest, that's what that's here for too. Good thing about life, y'all. People can say what they want. We don't have to agree with you, but don't beat up the person you don't agree with them because they don't think like you. All of a sudden, you mad at your daughter because she want to go into construction. You thought she would be an attorney or a doctor. Let that woman live her life. You had your chance to live your life. Anyway, am I getting on the box? Okay, I'm getting on the box. All right, I'm getting on there first. All right, we're talking. Thank you very much, EJ, at Requity Foundation and everything you guys are doing in the community. Basically, that's my hood too, West Baltimore, not too far from there. Went by Carver, lived by Carver, even probably played at the basketball court. I think they used to be over there across the street from Carver. But it is monumental that you learn how to solve a problem in order to take care of yourself, your family, or your loved ones, or your seniors, as they can't take care of themselves going in the future. And it's selfish for you to think that you cannot get a skill or solve a problem to really, as you go into adulthood, take care of yourself. Especially if you are living with somebody else or your money's a little funny or a little short. So that means you need to figure out a different problem to solve. And thank God it's some places out there that you can go and get some information on how to acquire some new skills. As you find your way, you work for somebody to really figure it out or do an excellent job. But then if you're that good, start your own business.
That's right.
Go
That's
start your own business. But get the skills first because 95% of businesses fail in the first couple years. And that's pretty much because the people just came up with a name and an idea and didn't put the work in to get the skills to be able to sustain. So I'm off the box. Thank you, EJ, for stopping through. You are always part of the Afro family, and I am going to get that free meal on Wednesday.
I know that's right. Come through. We here.
Dr. Draper.
Thank you. Let me echo the thank you that Impeccable just gave. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank you that you're doing it in the community that you grew up in, because giving back to community is so important. There are too many of us that, grew up in community, and then we forget we grew up in 21216 in the Rosemont area. But
Right.
I never forgot. We lived off of Poplar Grove, right across North Avenue.
Okay.
So spent a lot of time. In fact, back in the day, Carver was walking distance. Not anymore, but a lot of friends still there. And so kudos to what you're doing for the young people, the trades that they're learning. It's so important. As we've already established, technology is taking a lot of things out, but it won't take out these trades completely. However, the young people will need to know all the technology for some of the trades that they're doing, even in cooking. Right. And they need to know, sometimes young people will say things like, I don't know why I need to know that math. Well, you need to know that math so you don't burn the food that you're cooking, because they say do it for so many minutes, and you got to figure out if you change the temperature, you got to kind of compute what that means on your time. So there are all kinds of skills that young people and not so young people need for all of the trades that are now in demand, and the ones that will be in demand in the future, because who knows what there'll be a need for. Even with robotics, somebody's got to program the robot, right? Somebody has to make sure the robot doesn't walk into the wall, right? So it's all of those things. And so I am looking forward to visiting you on, I don't know what you called it, but I called it an all-you-can-eat Wednesday. Let us know when Wednesday. We all eat Wednesday. That's I got the all in there.
Right.
Let me know when it's time for the salmon.
Okay.
To 12 noon. I got you.
We're gonna have a chicken box on words. You know how people say tomato, potato, salmon. We say everything. Anyway, go ahead. That was a tangent. All right, Jay, you on the box?
That was a tangent on my box, Impeccable. Go ahead, Jay.
I know. I felt away when you said salmon or something.
Salmon. Okay, it has. Go ahead, Jay.
So thank you, Elisha, for being on the show. We appreciated to echo Dr. Draper's point. Doing work in the community in which you grew up in is incredibly powerful, because a lot of times we take the skills that we learn and we're like, I'm out. I'm never talking to those people again. Like, a lot of people just do that, and you're like, what happened to those people? That's their problem, right? But taking those skills that you've learned and then coming back into your community and then helping to uplift folks there, especially young people who have some of the most powerful impact because they're going to be here longer, right? So if it teaches them to then do the same thing, that's a wonderful story to have created. So thank you for your work there. What I would say is there is so much emphasis on, like, they're building rockets and we got to, that's all we got to focus on. We got to focus on that. And, don't worry about any of the other stuff. We're just going to the future, leave everything else behind. But you're going to need people to build those rockets. You are going to need people to handle the electricity in those buildings, to handle the electricity, to do the things to build the rockets. Like, everything about our progress as people is foundational, right? This idea that you don't start at level 10, buildings don't start at the roof, right? You got to build up, and you got to be able to build the structures and things like that. And so to have those people who have those skills, especially these young people, to have those skills to build the foundation by which a society is built on is incredibly powerful. And those jobs are like, hey, the more you're saying we're going to do all these other things, you still need all these foundations. Nobody is, we haven't gotten to the point where robots are doing it yet. So you're going to need people to do it. And to Dr. Draper's point, even the robots are going to need somebody to work on them or program them and stuff like that. So I feel like you're doing a great job at sort of future-proofing these young people's lives and giving them a skill they can walk out and, get into the workforce and provide for their families and their communities and everything else. So I don't know if you realize how powerful what you're doing is, but let me just reinforce, if you don't know, this is an incredible act of service that you're doing that's really kind of paying it for the next generation. So we appreciate your work here. We really do.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And it's wild that you bring up foundational skills, because that's something that we teach the students. The 3 C's is typically 5, but we focus on 3, which is competence, connection, and character.
Yeah.
You have to get good at something. You have to connect with the like-minded people, or people that can put you in rooms where you can excel. And your character speaks louder than any word that you can speak.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Final word. You're already on the box.
yeah, go for it. Yeah,
Well,
keep
since
that
I'm
rant going. I like it. No,
You're giving us all the seeds. You know what I'm saying?
Since I'm up here, no, I just would like to thank you all for the opportunity to get the word out about Requity. I do feel like a lot of smaller organizations don't get the attention that they need to reach the masses. So I appreciate the opportunity you all gave me to be here today to speak. It takes a village. We're open to volunteers. We're open to people that are in the trades unions coming through, speaking to our young people, showing them like gradually this is where you could be. It takes a village. Support is always needed. Support is always appreciated. We still have students write handwritten letters because with this technology, certain basic skills don't get utilized like they used to. Practicing cursive handwriting, just writing a letter, sending it, getting back the responses through the snail mail, but just to see it's people that still value things like this. So I just thank you all.
Thank you, guys. If you just tuned in, everybody who commented, thank you. Everybody who shared, thank you. Laura, Jessica, April, Alexis, anybody else who's watching this on a rebroadcast. If you got a young person, 15 to 24, right? It could be junior, senior in high school, or they could have graduated already. Doesn't have to be from a vocational high school, because it's not many of those left across the country, but they just have to have a desire to learn a new skill and a new vocation. They will be paid while
Yes.
they learn, and then once they get the certifications and the skills, they will be helped to help you even get careers in the field that you have chosen. Am I saying that right?
Absolutely right.
Absolutely. And look, don't forget to call a senior, everybody. They waiting for your phone call. Have you called all year? Have you called Auntie? Have you called him and just said, I'm gonna say happy birthday to my dad. He might not be listening. I gotta call him. See now. See, I just thought about it. But in case this is gonna be in history, but I said happy birthday on your birthday, Dad. So
Yeah.
call somebody you love and just let them know you're thinking about them. Don't text them. And if you are going to text them, go over there and text them while you're standing beside them and teach them how to text and send and do FaceTime and everything else. Because I've seen some of them, boy. They FaceTime, their face is right here. Like, back up a little bit, Grandma. Back up. Dr. Draper, don't say nothing. Anyway, you guys have a great day.
I'll wait till after you go off, because you ought to have a show about that, because you know what? It's very denigrating to put a category of people all into one box. Because you have a lot of tech savvy, tech sexy, to use your word, people of all ages, and then you got people who are in their 20s and 30s that can't answer email. So I think that we can talk about this on another box, but
no, I love it, and I've been corrected. See, thank you.
The commercials and the media that continually do that. You know what happens? It gets into our mindset that people, when they get a certain age, can't do certain things. And guess what? All of us are going to get there. If the Lord lets us live, we're going to get there. And when you get there, or Jay gets there, or EJ gets there, you'll still have that skill set, depending on, of course, a lot of other factors. But you've already learned those things. All right, I'm off that box. We'll do that another time.
Well, you are absolutely right. I'm apologizing for any senior who's tech sexy, but I'm talking about the ones who don't know. Children and grandchildren, please help those who don't know how to work the new tech so that they can connect better with their family. Hope I cleaned that up a little bit. Anyway,
see, you do know, connect with those in your family. you know, who when you start talking to them about certain things, they have no idea what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Until next time, EJ, Requity Foundation, and all the children who, or not children, the young superstars who helped. She said she had the young people get her lighting right. Her lighting is looking tech sexy
Yes,
today.
our interactive media team.
They came in and got the light right. You know what I mean? Remember when we started streaming and everybody was in the dark? Nobody knew how to work their lights. But anyway, thank you to your media team who we can't see them, but we know they did a great job. All right.
Yeah, he's close. Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.
Bye.